Miku, watch where you're going to hurt yourself.
Don't be scared, I'll be fine.
Ha 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 ha.
Hey, what's so funny?
Oh, nothing. I was just watching the new and epic Miku Miku Dance video.
I want to join your religion.
If you ever see MMD in the brackets before any video title, run. Miku Miku Dance. It's an animation program used as a tool to express yourself as an artist. Or this. It was a phenomenon that hasn't really been talked much about in the past 6 years or so. I'm guessing most people have left it in the basement of their brains due to... But it doesn't have to be that way. Gather around, kids. It's time for a story. The story of the MMD community is one of love, passion, storytelling prowess, and adult bank heists. Let's start in the year of our Miku, 2007. A man by the name of Yu Higuchi saw the rise in popularity of Vocaloid and Hatsune Miku. Fans would post 3D videos of their vocal group dancing the songs on Nico Nico Doga, but he noticed that each creator would use their own complex 3D animation software that really are not beginner friendly. Mr. Higuchi saw something that most big companies didn't. Random people on their crappy 2000s PCs just want to animate Luca and Len dancing the 009 Dreamscape trance or something like that. So, over the course of a few months, Mr. Higuchi would open Pandora's box. Miku Miku Dance was released on February 25th, 2008 to massive acclaim in Japan, noting how simple and beginner-friendly it was. A massive surge in MMD animations would boost the popularity of not just Vocaloid, but whatever series got in its way. Modelers like Animasa, Kyo, and M2 would help create the default characters for the program, where they would become one of the staple faces of the Vocaloid community. With all that cool stuff out of the way, a community of animators formed on Nico Nico Doga to create a competition for video makers to flaunt their skills. The MMD Cup. They were a series of bi-yearly events where animators would create a short film based on a prompt. You know, cat, Big Brother, the period, anything goes. Most of them are silly in nature. Like, you got this one from MMD Cup 11 where robbers are breaking into Miku's house where she's in danger of being manhandled by some boogeymen, only for Miku to kick their butts. And it's a commercial. Jumping Shoes features Miku unboxing some new shoes that can cause havoc. There's one where Luca is spanking someone with a belt. Yeah. One classic that people loved back in the days was Miku vs. Neru, Rollerblades. Ah yes. Back in the ye olde days, Akita Neru was created to be the anti-Miku. Whatever Miku likes, Neru hates. It's an interesting dynamic that was most certainly shown in this animation. I really love how Neru takes off like she's freaking Sonic. One of the more insane ones has to be Teto's wedding, where Kaito is being a creep. Yeah, it's one of those fan interpretations of Kaito that traces back to Vocaloid's inception. I don't know why the community sees him as a Minecraft YouTuber, but it is how it is, unfortunately. Nowadays, you just get cancelled on Twitter for being a groomer, while in this one, it follows Teto wanting to marry someone as soon as possible before she becomes too old and undesirable. So, she takes the last-ditch effort and attempts to marry Kaito. Wait, isn't that adultery? Teto is flying in the sky as a dragon. You gotta love how— oh no, no! You're gonna marry me or else I'm gonna let you fall. Okay, I'll marry you. How convenient. They do their little wedding on an airplane wing. Hey, Kaito, you want to marry her? What? This guy? Male Teto Kasane? Oh. Husband and wife happily ever after. Aww. And you know the funniest part? Kaito was simping over Miku, so indirectly, Teto saved Miku from a Minecraft YouTuber. That's why we love you, Teto. Never change. One of the most infamous, however, comes from an unlikely source. During the 8th MMD Cup, using the theme of Device Revenge, a man by the name of Yazurobai released an unexpected baby to the world. Accidents will happen. Back when I was a wee little Suwawako, Thomas and Friends was my life. Anything you can imagine, I participated in, and watching fan videos was one of them. Seriously, these things are their own rabbit hole, but let's save that for another day, as the song in question is among the most famous ever put out by the stupid Talking Train series. Trains, accidents, boom! It gives me night terrors every day. Why does this have 111 million views again? Oh. As the years progressed, the MMD Cup's participants' animation would continue to become more detailed as time went on. Raycast lighting, more detailed models, smoother animations. It was one of the best ways to see the progression of the community. Sadly, it would end with the 20th edition back in February 2018. But at that point, a competition of silly animations weren't really needed for animators to make their talent shine. Twitch TV, that's for virgins. Iwara TV is where the good stuff is at. The website is an obscure but important part of the MMD lore, so just bear with me. It's a website made by and for MMD animators and enjoyers alike. People gave each other tips and tricks on how to improve their animations. It was beautiful.
I'll strip down out of this and we'll celebrate here in the ring. What do you say?
Yeah, no problem.
Oh no, oh my, it's 4chan. Yeah, this website ain't all that innocent. The animators of 4chan were not too keen on YouTube and Nico Nico Doga taking down all of their good stuff. So in 2014, they made their own website for their fun stuff. Troll videos. Blah blah blah, a name change here, a jump in popularity with Western and Eastern animators there. Iwara TV. Wait, why is it so popular again?
Come on!
Technically, it's a general video website, but kinda like how one can use OnlyFans as a paid subscription to make custom Fumos or whatever.
What? But I love my Fumos.
Because of MMD's open nature, you can make sensitive videos featuring any characters you want. I'm not saying I approve of these types of videos, but it shows that the MMD community definitely has its eccentric side, and you'll see its fullest extent later on. We'll let that cursed plant grow for a little bit, as when it comes to specific safe for life animations, I really need to get these two off my chest because they've been haunting my mind for years. Splat Ventures was a series created by MMD Charizard where the Splatoon Inklings do whatever.
Blue, I can see you staring at me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It features the orange and blue Inkling, boyfriend and girlfriend, going to school where we would meet their friends doing crazy antics. These Inkling models genuinely look cursed. No offense though. I really like how in the intro, it has that one edgy DeviantArt dark Inkling. Foreshadowing much? The pink Inkling is an obvious gay stereotype.
Because, biatch, it's fabulous.
The video is comedic in nature, until we come to the ending, where it suddenly turns all dramatic?
Blue, I have a question that I've been dodging to ask. Do you still love me? And do you sometimes regret breaking up with me?
Gay? It was certainly an interesting setup for episode 2. No. When I was younger, I remember checking back on the video occasionally to see if the elusive episode 2 released. But that never happened. MMD Charizard kept getting comments and messages about, "Hey dude, where's episode 2? For months on end. Animation takes a very long time, especially for one solo hobbyist, so being rushed on something you aren't too passionate about definitely dampens the mood. So in January 2018, he quietly changed the description of the video to cancel the series, later disabling comments and unlisting the video. When I first saw what happened, I was rather shocked, but as you get older and you understand the artistic process, you just get it, you know? Looking back, it's a silly yet kinda dated video, with Vine jokes.
Mama!
But I appreciate it for what it is. It's also a good lesson about respecting the artist's wishes, because goodness gracious, does the Splatoon community need that. But a fandom that actually respects their artists is Toho Project. I already talked about Harpoonied in a really bad video months ago, but he's still an important part of the Toho MMD scene, at least in my eyes. He was known for making a ton of Toho MMD videos, most of which being short memes akin to TikToks, or Vine if you're older. They're silly, dumb, brainless. But there's one video that always stood out in my mind, especially as a young Toho fan. Fear and Loathing in Gensokyo. If you're a Toho fan around my age, you've seen it, don't even lie. You know how Spaceballs is a parody to Star Wars? Well, this idiot video is a parody to another pre-existing title, albeit the Toho version is filled with memes. Every single scene.
Fuck! Oh shit! Oh shit!
As a kid, I never really got why Kaneko said, "Oh, it is so clear now." I'd say it's a masterpiece, and with recently breaking the 1,000,000 view barrier, it earned its stripes. I know there are also other Japanese Toho MMD dramas that share its length and prestige, but they're not really that accessible to us weird Westerners.
The thing about these dramas is that these characters use a text-to-speech program that makes them sound like Animal Crossing characters. Look at that angry face right there. Ooh, grr, I'm evil. Ah! Poor little Sage right here just dies. And that's it.
I could go on for hours on other random MMD animations that I saw when I was younger, but of course, we gotta go check on that plant from earlier. Dear Neptune. The Eastern MMD community is filled with so much talent and creativity. A lot of masterpieces just don't seem to arrive in the Western world. Well then, what do our Western friends provide? Listen, I don't want to know what you do with your exhaust pipe in private, but you gotta admit that the MMD community's obsession with Undertale, FNAF, Yaoi, DDLC, bald models is... You only really see this type of stuff on the Cursed Realm. DeviantArt. I want you to play a little game with me. Go to DeviantArt and search up a random series. Add MMD to the end of the search and see how fast it takes for you to find something funky. I want to preface this by saying, if it's not harming anyone, let's not shame people for what they enjoy, even if they're a bit eccentric with what they enjoy. Because of MMD's amateur nature, it's very easy to create fun videos and images of whatever characters you can find. Kids these days won't understand the horror of finding Monica from DDLC doing that. Frankly, I don't even know what to believe anymore. When you get older, you tend to realize that a lot of the stuff you've seen as a kid are not really meant for you. Just watch any old SMG4 video, and you'll see that, oh boy, I haven't heard of this word in years.
Whoa! Smoke weed every day.
It's the same case with MMD. Sure, Kaito might be portrayed as a pedo, Len and Neru may be lovers, and Monica... just Monica. But they're relics of an old era. MMD had a period of time between 2017 and 2018 where it just left the minds of people. But recently, it's made a bit of a resurgence. Yeah, Talkloid. You basically grab Vocaloids, you make them talk about apples, water bottles, the politics of inflation, Cheez-Its, and because they're Vocaloid, it'll instantly be funny. Newer MMD animators have taken these as source material to animate them into something golden. MMD has always been that funny animation program, and as long as we have memes, MMD is always waiting in the background, waiting to make us laugh. Or to make you feel emotions you haven't felt before.
No! Look at what MMD is doing to them. It's rotting their brains. Like, listen, don't get any ideas from this. Like, what? Miku, I'm very sorry that she had to put you through that. But with all due respect, Miku, you're gonna suffer a bit more tonight. Because, whoa. Garfield, Miku Expo. What is this? This looks like something you'd see in an MMD animation.